Hello. In early 1973, there were finally some good news out of Indochina. The prisoners from the Vietnam War were finally being released. They were mostly military personnel, and we all know how they were treated. They were beaten, they were starved, they were tortured, they were put in solitary confinement for years, some of them. Obvious breach of the Geneva Convention that the North Vietnamese government had signed. The North Vietnamese also held some civilian prisoners, among them a few women. These women were civilian nurses who worked at a hospital in South Vietnam where they treated civilians. And let's take a look at the only of these women to survive the war and be released together with the other prisoners. Her name was Monika Schwinn. She was a nurse from Germany. She worked for a Catholic organization called the Knights of Malta, and she worked at a hospital that they ran in the Republic of Vietnam. That's South Vietnam for you and me. In April 1969, she and four others from the hospital were driving out to a village nearby to treat some patients there. And they were stopped by soldiers from the Viet Cong, and they were captured. And they were taken to a prison camp that the VC ran in South Vietnam. While Schwinn and her colleagues were imprisoned there, several of them were starved to death. And soon, only after a couple of months, only Schwinn and one of her male colleagues were left alive. You would think that they would treat civilian nurses better than they treated the military aircrew, but well, you can listen for yourself. This is from an interview with Monika Schwinn after she was released. Miss Schwinn also said the North Vietnamese resented the fact that she was a woman and struck her while on a forced march to the north. During the march, a North Vietnamese officer beat me twice until I was unconscious, because I was a woman, she said. An even worse time was when we were in a hospital hut on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. I had collapsed from the walking, and the officer threw a bamboo broom at me and told me to sweep the hut. I think I made him lose face in front of the two other Vietnamese taking us north because I said no. I was angry about his action, and I told him he shouldn't play the big shot in German. So he came up to me and put a revolver to my head. But I did not show fear, so he just beat me all over my body, wherever he could reach. After Schwinn was marched to North Vietnam in a prison camp there, the leader of the prison told her that she had helped the enemy and that she was a criminal, despite that she had only given medical aid to civilians. I'm going to show you a clip from a declassified US Air Force training film that briefly mentions Schwinn.
And we have the word honor encrypted.
Notes were concealed in any number of ways. We had to analyze the situation and take advantage of whatever communication opportunities were available. In the Hanoi Hilton, as only one example, we used many techniques to pass messages. Some were pretty clever. A German nurse named Monika Schwinn was interned by the V at Camp Huey. The V let her keep a kitten. Each day, the kitten would go from cell to cell begging food. Miss Schwinn had made a collar for the kitten and would hide notes in it.
You can only imagine what the North Vietnamese would have done to her if they had found out that she was communicating with US officers. Here's another picture of Schwinn. That's Monika Schwinn on the left. I think it's a newspaper reporter, the woman on our right. This is just after her plane landed at Clark Air Base in the Philippines. She's shaking hand with, I forget his name, it's the US ambassador to the Philippines. And here is Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos. Here is a picture of Monika Schwinn taken at a prisoner of war reunion in the States in 1998. There's not that much information about her that I could find. I couldn't find date of birth even. I think she's born in 1942. She did write a book a couple of years after she was released. I think it was called We Came to Help. Oh, and one of Schwinn's female colleagues that were starved to death, she was a teenager. She was 19. This might not have been a fun video, but I hope at least you found it interesting to hear about how the North Vietnamese communists treated Monika Schwinn and the other civilian women. Anyway, thank you for watching and bye for now.